Hello. In this video, I will explain the steps required to connect Automation Studio with Epicor Kinetic and create actions within this integration. As a first step, we need to review the prerequisites required to perform actions from Kinetic to Automation Studio. First, verify that the agent is installed if your environment is on-premise. If your environment is cloud-based, the configuration will follow the steps specified by Epicor. At this point, I have already logged into the Epicor integration portal using administrator credentials. From the main menu, you will see a screen similar to this one, which displays the environment configured for Automation Studio integration across the different tools related to Epicor. Here you can review the different connections or agents associated with this integration. Under the Integration section, Automation Studio is displayed. Within the Instances section, you can see the various agent connections that are registered. In this case, I can register a new instance, although my environment is already configured. Once the instance configuration is ready, and the target environment is identified, in this case Epicor Kinetic, the menu provides an option to directly link to Automation Studio. This is the main Automation Studio screen. The first step to connect the systems is to create a connection. I already have a connection created, which can be reviewed by filtering the tools from the Assets page. Once the configuration is complete, the header will confirm that the connection is successful. With the connection established, we can now create a recipe linked to actions defined within Epicor Kinetic. To create a recipe, navigate to the Recipes menu and select Create Anew. In this example, we will configure a recipe that sends an email containing package information when its status changes. The recipe can be created from this section or from Integration Studio under Recipes. Create. Here we specify the recipe name and select the project where it will be stored. Next, we define the trigger, which is the event that initiates the action. In this case, we select Trigger for App. From the available applications, we choose Epicor Kinetic and configure it to detect when a record is added or updated. After defining the trigger, we select the connection to be used. The system will then display the components available within the Kinetic environment. In this example, we select the Customer Ships table. Within the Fields to Retrieve section, we choose the values we want to capture based on the updated record. We can select a one-to-one mapping or retrieve all available fields. For testing purposes, only a subset of records is selected. We can also retrieve data from child tables, such as shipment details. Here, we select the company, Epicor Education, and optionally filter the type of elements to retrieve. No additional trigger conditions are applied in this example, although conditions can be configured if needed. After defining the trigger, we move to the Action section and add an action. In this case, we select the email by Workato action. A form is displayed where we can define the email content. The subject and body can include dynamic elements from the updated record. For example, the pack number is included in the email subject. The email format can be set to plain text or HTML. In this case, HTML is selected, and all relevant information is added to the message body. Once the configuration is complete, we save the recipe. After saving, the recipe can be tested using the test option. The recipe listens for changes in the configured environment and connections. To trigger the test, we return to the Epicor Kinetic environment and navigate to Customer Shipment Entry. We select a package or filter by status. Then update the package by changing its status, for example, to closed. Once the update is made, we return to Automation Studio and execute the test. The system confirms that the action was triggered successfully. We can review the data received from Kinetic, including the pack number as well as the email configuration that was sent. By checking the email inbox, we can see the message sent by Workato containing the updated package information. This is a simple but very useful example of how to connect external applications using Automation Studio and Epicor Kinetic. That concludes this demonstration. Thank you very much for watching.